You want to open?
Sure thing. Alright, so this is going to be our FBHL broadcast where we will be discussing everything that's going on in the Facebook League. So I'm here with my buddy Evan Kalinsky, who will be my host for every single show, hopefully. Evan, how are you
Hopefully.
doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Doing pretty good, man. Excited to get this going. Excited to
Yeah,
see how it turns out. So
definitely.
So we
So,
got yeah, we had a little bit of technical issues. That's why we're running some shootout in the background right now. But
Without delay,
we're
we go
yeah.
right to the
we're
shootout.
gonna start off with talking about standings and predictions, how the FBHL is going so far. So in my opinion, it's definitely changed since season one. Massively. It's the growth on this league is
Lead off for his team.
it's crazy.
He scores!
Yeah, definitely. I know I joined back in season one. There were 6 teams. You were pretty much guaranteed to be thrown into a
Second
team.
round first shooter score
It was a lot
time.
more free.
How good
Kind of
are
seemed
these
to have a beer league feel to it, to be honest with you. And now it's starting to definitely hold that competitive feel. There's a lot more top-level guys getting on teams. A lot more competition than there was back then. It's been
For
a lot of
sure.
fun.
I ended up joining when I was in season two. I was picked up by the Winnipeg Jets, held by Shane and Y Genoa at the time.
Now let's see, Doc, if his team can pick him up after
Great
that
group of
terrific
guys.
save.
I enjoyed it there. Where you were on Winnipeg too, weren't you?
I was, but I actually originally got picked up by the Chicago Blackhawks back in season one, which at the time was run by Scott Aldro and Matthew Zuswick. During the middle of that season, after some instances in our locker room, the Genoese and myself took over the team, and we ended up winning the cup with that roster, beating the Detroit Red Wings run by one Skylar Walker.
That was yeah, that's a well-told story around.
That was
But
a lot of fun.
Oh, what a move.
yeah, no, it's
Idea, but it didn't
certainly,
work.
man. So yeah, we're gonna give some predictions and talk about what's going on in the FBHL as of right now. So as of right now, we got the World Cup of Hockey going on right now. It's our third year.
Third. Yes, it's the third. This is we just had the draft the other night. The most teams we've had, I believe this year there's,
Goalies like to
how
always
many
get
there
the
are?
last save.
I think it's
12?
actually, it might be the same as last year, or last time. I think it's 12 this
What
time.
happened there?
Got some new countries being represented here, and a lot of new owners, a lot of new faces to the league to help out. I believe Keith is in charge of running it this year.
It's good.
Um,
You ran it the past
looking
two
for-
seasons prior, correct?
I did. Um, I had a bunch of stuff going on and ended up not doing it again this year. Just busy with school and everything.
Oh wow.
So yeah, Keith's doing, seems like he's doing a good job. I know I'm over on Team Italy. I believe you're running a team, aren't you?
I'm running a team with Jason Worrell. It's Team Sweden.
Nice.
We got a good looking team going on so far. First game of the tournament starts on the 20th of August, which would be next Monday, I believe. And our first game is against Jesse Norcia in Switzerland. So it's going to be we already tell it's going to be a good game. Jesse, obviously, coming off a Stanley Cup campaign. Congrats to Jesse Norcia and the Dallas Stars for a huge accomplishment.
Bergeron's the choice to go first for his team.
Abdel Hakim too. It's another cup ring.
An
He
outstanding save.
he's got a few of those now. He's a well-rounded out defenseman.
Still tied. Score!
Yes, so
Great move there.
he's definitely doing good. Jesse's as long as he's running a team, he's going to get a good team out there.
I agree.
Definitely, if not in the cup, definitely deep playoff runs. I don't see them ever missing the playoffs if he's in charge.
for sure. He runs a good team. He's got great players. Troy Jolly, Ryan Grattan. That's the top two players. We'll get to Dallas.
They're also a fun group of guys.
Yeah, they
not,
had them in the threes
they
league.
take it. They want to win, but they want to have fun while they win. They don't just want to win.
Right. So we're gonna start off in the Eastern Conference. We'll get back to Dallas. So we're gonna start off in the Atlantic Division with the division leader, the Toronto Maple Leafs, Steve Tavares.
Actually,
another.
I believe I was in a party with Hassan the other day. Steve Tavares no longer runs Toronto.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah, I forget who he said took over, but Steve, Hassan, and someone else all decided for a fresh start, and they're actually now, they've been traded over to Buffalo. So, I'm not exactly sure what Toronto is looking like for this coming season, but with that being said, I definitely think that Buffalo is going to be a strong contender over there, even stronger than they were this past season over in the Atlantic. Last season they had 83 points. This season I definitely see them, if they don't walk away with the Atlantic, they're definitely going to enter on a wild card.
Yeah, no, I agree. The Sabres, yeah, they're that's great for the Sabres. They got they just recently got Wyatt Genoway. He's gonna be.
Shane Genoway last season. They've just added some great management, and I don't know if they're actually going to be management over there, but they've added a couple great guys that used to be with Toronto. So
yeah, for sure, that's huge for Buffalo. It's I think it's going to help them out a lot.
Especially when they're leading points for last year. He wasn't top 5, but he still had 115 points in 43 games. So
it's
just with him and those other guys that they've added, definitely.
That's gonna be huge for Buffalo. Phoenix, great player, great rounded up player. He had a really good season last season. Helped Buffalo out a lot. So also,
they struggled at the beginning.
They did.
Last season. But Jesse definitely stuck with it, turned that team around, got a couple key pieces, finished the season strong.
It was a good bounce back for Buffalo. I was glad to see them make the playoffs. They're a good group of guys, and I have respect for every player on that team. Also, the Ottawa Senators made a switch with Brad Furland and his San Jose Sharks. Actually, it's
Michael Jordan's in charge, isn't he? No, he's
Michael
not.
Jordan
He's
in charge of San Jose now.
He's with San Jose now.
They swapped. Chris Zeus is now owning the Ottawa Senators as the Sharks and Senators switch over. Sharks, I think that's going to be huge for the Atlantic Division. It's another tough competitor. They finished
probably one of the weaker divisions last season. Definitely adding the top team from the Pacific last season with them rebranding as the Ottawa Senators. It's definitely going to add some more competition over there. Look
for
forward
sure.
to seeing how they do.
And the who else moved? Tampa Bay, was it not?
I believe Tampa Bay switched with Chicago, I want to say, but I'm not too sure about that. They were two relatively just about the middle of the pack. Both teams sat around, if I'm correct, with Tampa Bay and Chicago. They both sat, Chicago sat around 500. Tampa Bay struggled last season, but
Chicago had a much better season than Tampa Bay. So it's gonna weaken out the Central unless if Tampa makes some big moves, or the new Chicago Blackhawks make some big moves, get some key players. Definitely think they can. Again, good group of guys. I think it's definitely going to be
What
a
save.
big move. Central Division is by far the toughest division in the league.
Definitely. Three
Um,
top teams over there.
Wonderful
You
save.
almost don't really know which one's going to walk away with that division.
Petrangelo's
And
attempt
9 times out of 10, all
ended.
3 of those top teams are going to end up making the playoff because of wild cards.
Right.
Dallas, Colorado, and Winnipeg. All 3 great teams. Great management in charge.
Wonderful save in the goal
This year,
crease.
the Winnipeg Jets have
As a
switched
goaltender, Doc, you
management.
have
They
to
used to be run
understand
by
the
Lee
speed of the
Generally,
shooter.
you know,
That's
Buffalo,
exactly
Lee
what
White's
happened
actually GMing over there. Still, but now Skylar Walker, the former GM, and actually former owner of the Dallas Stars,
Well, after
before
that
the
great
Detroit
save,
Red
Doc,
Wings,
the reaction from the
running
bench was outstanding.
Winnipeg.
Over the Jets. That's
head
going to be
man.
huge for Winnipeg. They
Yeah, he has a great work ethic when it comes to running a team. Takes the draft very
He had an
seriously. Has a
idea,
whole
but
board
it
put
didn't
together.
work. If he scores, the heat
yeah,
goes to the enemy.
they definitely put in a lot of work last season,
That's a marvelous save.
and it worked out well. They
Being so close to that, this is
finished
all
third in the league, I believe it was,
Goalies have
with
control too.
124
The save
points.
will continue.
Yeah, they clearly dominated. They had a well put together team.
His team can lead. He's won
Yeah,
the
no. Detroit. How do you think they're going to bounce back? Do you think they're going to stay at the bottom?
Who's in charge of them this season? Are they
That's-
still being run by, you know who's running them?
That's a good question.
I saw a post about tryouts, I want to say it was Ryan Hendrickson, or
Okay.
Rob Hendrickson, but I'm not 100% certain. I do think they started to turn around a little bit, but I do believe they also took over that team in the middle of the season, so
Yeah.
it'll be
No,
interesting to see
it's
how
hard
they do
to.
with a full season. They seem pumped, ready to go. They expect to be competitive this year, so
Well,
I see them probably. They might make a wild card. If not, they should probably be close. But we'll see.
yeah. I mean, it's I hope the best for really every team, but
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion,
there's always
it
gotta be a
depends
team
how
at the
well they run the team next year.
Definitely.
But what are your predictions for who do you think is going to come out on top of the Atlantic next season?
I think Buffalo is going to win the Atlantic.
Okay.
I think I'm just going to go through all 8 playoff spots real quick for the East. I think the top 2 spots in the Atlantic, or actually the top 3 spots, my bad, are going to be Buffalo, Montreal, and Ottawa.
Okay.
Probably not in that order, but I definitely see those 3 teams coming out.
I agree. Yeah,
Actually, thinking about it, I might put Ottawa back up there because I forgot that they switched with San Jose.
Yeah.
We just talked about
that's
it, but
see that was going to be my
they're
prediction.
definitely going to give a lot of competition there.
Yeah.
Um,
I think definitely it's going to be I think Ottawa's going to lead the division next season. They got a good team.
mhm.
Great players with yeah. I really do think they're gonna come out on top.
Yeah. The Metro is a lot harder to predict because I know a lot of those teams over there, for the most part, they were either lower on the standings last season or they're just completely new owners to the league, and some of them don't even have management experience in other leagues. So it'll be interesting to see how they go. With that being said, I do think the Islanders are going to find their way in the playoffs again.
I think so as
Uh,
well. With
They got in there last year. Chris Rapada up there in charge. I forget who else is there with them.
yeah, they ran an amazing team last season.
Mhm.
50-win campaign. 105 points to top off. Only 2 points behind the Columbus Blue Jackets. run by, at the time, Matthew Perot. That was
Yeah, and this season they're being run by Jake Asena.
right. He's a great player too. So I think Columbus is
it'll
gonna
be
have another great year.
Yeah, definitely. Those wild cards over there in the East, I think, to be honest with you, I think I think we might see 5 teams out of the Atlantic make it, and only 3 in the Metro make it. I think both wild cards are gonna go to Atlantic teams, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Because I know the Flyers they have a new manager this year. And I mean, I could always be wrong. You could probably make a case for just about any team over there making their way in the playoffs
Yeah,
as a
for
wild
sure.
card, but the only ones that I think are really a lock are those top 3 spots in the Atlantic. I think they pretty much have them penned in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. But yeah, how about the New York Rangers? They got an interesting team. They have amazing
They do.
goaltenders in Jason Gaudette. He's a great goaltender.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Um,
Who's running that team over there? Is it?
that's
I don't remember, but they definitely have a good team. They can definitely
isn't
make a
it
case for the playoffs if they can keep up momentum. And
yeah, for sure. Hank led the team in points last season with 98.
just short of 100. By
Yeah,
no means is that a great
Yeah, I know.
season. They got Reeder right behind them, and like you
Chris
said, some
Tessier,
great
yeah,
goaltenders.
no,
over there.
that's great. Having 4 players over 50 points, that's huge. 4 players over 70, that's I mean, it's good depth, all around team. They yeah, no, they had a good season last season. I was surprised with the Washington Capitals. They started off really hot. An
Yeah,
altercation
definitely.
came across, so our
Yeah, it
stats
kinda
were
killed 'em.
incorrect. Lost some games. I was surprised to see the Capitals fall down like this. I really thought they were going to be a top team.
Definitely, me too.
Yeah, Pittsburgh as well. They had a new management change after a little bit. They managed to push themselves into a playoff spot.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they had a good run. These teams are good teams. So, what would you say your prediction will be for next season? Who do you think is going to come out on top of the Metro?
On top of the Metro, I'm gonna go with the Islanders. I think they're gonna take that 1 seed over there. And if they don't, the Rangers will. So that's my prediction.
Okay. I think I think the Blue Jackets will come out on top again with new management. I'm excited to see what he's going to do with the Blue Jackets.
Definitely.
I think it's a huge change. But it's going to be good to see what the Blue Jackets can do.
For sure. So then we're going to move over here to the Central real quick. We pretty much already covered last season. They had the top 3 teams in the league were also 1, 2, and 3 over in the Central.
Right.
Pretty much the same management for the most part.
Yep.
Dallas guys are the same. Colorado, I believe the owners changed hands and they've got 1 new GM, but I believe their new owner was a former GM, if I'm correct. And they still have the old management team there on their roster, and Winnipeg, like we already said. Skylar Walker, who's always been a big part of getting that team together, is now the owner instead of a GM. So I think those are 3 great teams. They're all going to definitely make the playoffs, unless barring some
For sure. No,
unforeseen issue.
Dallas destroyed last season with 130 points, 5 points ahead of second place, 64 wins and 13 losses. That's
Yeah, and I believe actually a good chunk of those 13 losses were actually forfeits from just them having issues getting guys should show up, or especially
Oh,
during the
wow.
last weeks. I think they had a couple guys just not feel like playing because they knew they were already pretty much locked in.
Wow,
So
that's
I think they could have been even better than what they were, and
I
that should be
agree.
scary to a lot of these teams, especially those division teams competing with them.
It's Central again. I think it's going to be the toughest division in the league.
Oh, definitely.
With
One thing I do want to mention about the Central is Minnesota. They've been bolstering up their team since the second half of last season, and they ended up. I think they won some ridiculous amount of games in their last half. Like, if they played that way throughout, they would be up there with those other three teams. But we'll see how if they can carry that momentum into the next season. And
yeah, they recently just acquired Mr. Evan Kalinske on the point, so I think that's a good move for the Minnesota Wild, picking up in my opinion, a solid player who can fit well with pretty much any play style. It's a good look for the Wilds.
Thank you.
It'll certainly
I know
help
they
them
also
out.
have Chris McKenzie
Yeah,
coming in
that's
at defense again, this coming back for this season. So they're bolstering up their defense. Their forwards keep up with what they were doing at the end of last season, and the goaltending is solid. I believe that they can get a wild card, if not take a division spot over there.
yeah, for
So
sure.
with that being said, who do you think comes out on top of the Central?
Well, try not to be biased. Excuse me. Try not to be biased here. So I was moved to Colorado. I wanna say we're gonna come out on top, but obviously things can happen. It's gonna be tough. These three teams are it's hard to predict with Winnipeg
Really?
and Colorado and Dallas. It's definitely gonna be one of those three teams coming out on top of the Central.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely, in my opinion, I see Dallas coming out on top again this season. Um, And I mean, obviously, the other teams I definitely see making the playoffs. And one thing that's important to remember is this coming season is going to be the first one we're playing over in NHL 19, which comes out in about a month from now. So definitely part of what's going to affect at the beginning of the season is how quickly can these players transition to the faster agility, move
Yeah,
their play, and definitely, I
huge
know as a
huge
former
game changer.
goaltender, it's a big adjustment going from game to game. I know in past years I've struggled immensely just first couple months just switching from a game, so it'll be interesting to see can all those goaltenders make that switch over nice and quick, and can the
Yep,
defensemen adjust to the faster pace of play?
I agree.
And definitely with the whole new poke checking system and a lot more likely to take a penalty,
Yeah, for sure.
should be
It's
interesting.
more of a defensive game. Uh, it's definitely gonna be interesting. Even I was surprised to see St. Louis miss the playoffs this season. That was unfortunate. I was really looking
For
forward
real, I
to
mean,
seeing
99
them.
points and you miss the playoffs, that's got to be devastating, but that just shows you're in one of the strongest divisions and the stronger of the two conferences, in my opinion, and
Yeah, no, Jason
you've got to
Langretter
be up
run
over 100.
definitely running an amazing team over there on St. Louis with their top line last year, Taylor Jose and Lemmy and Craig Dobson. I know
It's a
Craig
great
Dobson
line
had
right
told me
there.
this is going to be his last season. Um, so I wish the best of luck to the legend Craig Dobson. He's a great guy, great player, especially. Huge part of the team in the league. I don't see anyone ever dissing on Craig Dobson. Great guy. Yeah,
Yeah, definitely,
definitely a huge part of
There's-
St. Louis as well.
for
Helps
sure.
out management with Taylor and Jason.
Yeah,
They're,
great
I
two-way
really think they're gonna
forward
make the playoffs
play
next
style.
season.
For
They
real,
had
I
an
definitely can see
amazing
them.
better half to the season.
Yeah, that's true with a lot of these teams. Actually, is it seems like a lot of these teams that were seen last season as kind of can kind of push them under the rug. They ended up starting to make pushes towards the playoffs. They just started those pushes a little late, and St. Louis is one of those teams that sadly they made the push. They get all the way up to 99 points, which is good enough to almost win a division, and they're within 10 points of any other
Yeah,
conference. They're
it's
within 4 of winning the Atlantic with 99 points, and they couldn't even make the playoffs. So they're
just
definitely not a team to mess with.
yeah, no,
Uh,
for sure. St. Louis, I think they're gonna be good next season. They were good this season on the second half, with
Mhm.
that huge playoff push. I'm glad they're turning themselves around. They got a good group of guys, humble players. So I think it's gonna turn out good for the St. Louis Blues next season.
Mhm. Okay, over in the Pacific, we've already
Over
covered the
into the
the
Pacific now.
old San Jose Sharks are now in Ottawa, so that brings the Ottawa Senators to San Jose. Um, with that being said, if you want to look at it in terms of placing Ottawa into the Pacific, they're kind of farther down there. Uh, Ottawa had, let me find it, they had only 59 points last season, and if you place that team in the Pacific, they're all the way they're all the way down in last place.
Yeah, that's
That's that's definitely going to be a big switch over there. So with that
yeah.
being said, kind of want to cover Edmonton real quick. They're run by Esco. Uh,
Esco, yeah,
Great guy, funny guy.
well loved around
Put
the
it had a
league, I'd
team,
say.
great team. He's got Jim Vieira and Jesse Abrams over there.
Yep,
Uh, he also has B. Cray and
that's
Peace.
right,
So he's got a great team. I know
for
I
sure.
spent some time there last season. And one thing that's interesting about how he runs his team is he almost treats it instead of like one team like two teams, um, where he really follows a line system and does well. And
I think that's good though. Play really focus on the lines, get that chemistry going. It's a good thing to do for sure.
yeah, for sure.
But Arizona
Arizona should
right
be.
behind them with 102 points. Uh,
hmm
Great year for Arizona. They got a lot of great players on that team. Run by Brandon Donovan. He runs a good
Definitely.
team.
Believe he has Kendall Knox is coming back, but I do not believe Alex Button is returning this season for whatever reason. Because I know he was looking for another GM a couple of
Oh,
days
that's
ago.
uh,
One
that's gonna.
surprising person that's definitely overlooked over on his roster is Cameron Pistolka.
Yeah, for sure. He's a great goaltender.
Great goaltender.
Really,
A lot of people just kind of discredit him because of his age and his attitude, but you know what? At the end of the day, if he's going to stop the puck from rolling in, I think you got to give him a chance.
for sure. I 100% agree. Um, yeah, no,
Uh,
Jordan Mugford last season with 146 points. A great
that's another
centerman.
one. I don't think he's returning.
Yeah, it's gonna be a huge loss if they
Hold
can't
on,
pick.
I have their roster somewhere.
Um, yeah, I
You
mean,
give
they
me a
still
minute.
got Daryl Chapman too. He had a 90-point
Yeah, he
campaign.
does not. Yeah, he does not have Jordan.
But no, Daryl, a good player too. 90-point campaign, 32 games played, almost 3 points a game. That's that's
hmm
that's a good player for a team like Arizona and a division like the Pacific. Um,
Yeah,
also,
Anaheim should be a good team as well. They just got taken over. I forget the guy's name, but apparently he has a lot of LG experience, knows some guys, and should make the division even more competitive than it already was.
yeah, for sure. No, it's
I believe his gamer tag was Merciless, uh, so
but
definitely
yeah,
should have a good team.
um, I again, and right behind them tied was the LA Kings, who had an incredible team. They yeah, that was a good season by the LA Kings. Jake Morana was on that team.
Mm-hmm.
Desi Leroux, Scott Cameron, Mike Morana.
Oh, hey,
You know,
James Bobo. That is a great defenseman right
yeah,
there.
for sure.
Um,
They that was huge for them. Great offense, great defense, led by also great goaltending too. What more could you ask for? They had a great season last season, finishing off again with 102 points. A little different than the Coyotes, as I had 49 wins, 27 loss, and 4 overtime loss. That's why the Coyotes had the third place in the Pacific with the 1-win differential. But behind them too was again surprisingly not making the playoffs, the Anaheim Ducks. I was surprised to see that not happening. They also had a great roster. I know they turned it around near the end. They had Mike DTH. He 141 points last season, 86 goals.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely huge.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, they got new management over there, so it should be interesting. So they're going to be a fun team to watch, and I'm going to be honest with you, they're actually my prediction to walk away with the Pacific.
Yeah, it's they had a huge second half, so I think with that being said, they're I do as well. I think they're gonna come out on top, depending on what Edmonton does. Vegas as well, run now by Jay Bowens and Nicholas Dowes. They got a good team. They recently acquired Matt Shue from the Avalanche.
Yeah, I believe that was for you.
Correct. That was I think that was a really good deal on both ends. Shue's a great player. Certainly win you guys games. It's gonna be good for the Vegas Golden Knights. Hopefully a bounce back. Can hopefully make the playoffs this season.
Yeah, definitely.
No, I think they're gonna be a much better team this season.
Mhm. I do as well.
Yeah, Calgary right under them with 73 points. That was I don't think that was the season they were looking for.
No, definitely not. I remember they were making a lot of moves. Just seemed to not let anything try to set it. And because of that kind of killed it, because there was never really a chance for guys to build chemistry. Hopefully, I believe JC's still running them. Hopefully he can turn it around for next season.
Yeah, for sure. I think he can. Puts a lot of work into the draft with new management. I think it'll go good.
Mm-hmm.
Same goes with Vancouver. They had a good start last season, as they had any team that had Smurf went on a decent win streak. He's just not the right locker room, not the right locker room leader.
Yeah, they got some guys I'm pretty familiar with over there. David Daigle played with me, and Edmonton.
Rich Wilmot. That's
he was in charge. I believe Antoine Vermette's taken over.
That's right.
I'm also Garrett Emsch, G-Spot. He's another great player, great center. Greg, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name. Blitzberg, he's a really good defenseman. Definitely can help the team. Definitely helps that team on the back end. And then they got Uncle Dean, and I mean,
the evil doink. You can't go wrong with the evil doink. That's great. Really though, I think Vancouver can turn it around next season. Run by Verme. I know he was on the Sharks last season. And was moved, but no, I think the Canucks can make a big turnaround, and hopefully they do. Like to see each team improve for next season. I think it's gonna be a great season next season overall for the majority of the teams.
Mhm. That
New
being
game,
said, I kind of
right?
want to finish this out. I kind of want to make a bold prediction each. Last season's point leader, Quentin Brown,
That's right.
been recently hit with a
Permaban, correct?
lifetime ban from the FBHL by have that correctly, for an instance that happened during the Cup Finals versus Dallas. But 261 points last season. Next closest guy was Chris Jesus, only at 168, almost 100 points more than that guy.
Yeah.
Who do you think comes away with it next season?
Well, I mean, it all depends who, how lines are made, what top teams are going to be. I think perhaps a Dallas player or it's hard to say. A Winnipeg player too. But yeah, no. Zeus, great season for Zeus. Played absolutely amazing. You got Jeremy Poirier, Skylar Walker. Again, props to the top players for winning every award this season. Shout out to my buddy Skylar Walker winning the Selkie. Yeah, Troy Jolly. It's gonna be good. It's hard for me to say right now.
Season.
Yeah, for sure. But with all that being said, we speaking of points and highlights, we would appreciate it if you guys could send us some top highlight plays that you guys come across if you guys score in an FB game.
Plays, dangles, saves, whatever it is.
Feel free to send it to Evan or I, and we would like to make a collage for the end of the season or every week.
Sports Center top 10 plays, and
right.
Each week pump it out and get the community involved in voting. And
for sure, we'd like to engage with you guys. Tell us your opinions. We will. We're hoping to get this thing rolling, and we hope you guys enjoy what we put out every week. As we plan to every Wednesday at 8 East. Please send us in video clips of in-game highlights, funny moments, whatever you want to send us in. We'll put it on. Make a top 10 list.
Yeah, definitely. Even if you find glitches and we get enough glitches, we can do not top 10 plays and stuff like that.
Right. Just
kind of mess around with it and
see where it goes. So next week's topics, we're going to be talking about trade transactions. We'll be talking about trades that happened
last season, and
yep.
We're going to give our opinions on them. If one team definitely won the deal, if one team didn't, what could make the trade better.
For sure. So that'll be next week. Stay tuned. We'll see you guys next week. Hope you guys enjoyed.